what interests me so much is within your podcast, you've just been speaking to a founder you've backed, Logical, all about the future of quantum. You've been deep diving on this. So when you see these sorts of iterations and breakthroughs, what do you make of it? Where is the opportunity for you in the seed and the Series A?
First of all, great question. As you know, I'm a long-term early stage investor, and I like to look for companies that could be worth 10, 20, $30 billion. There's very few of those in the world, and I think that led me to quantum now almost a year and a half ago, thinking it's sort of the next wave of innovation after AI. And the potential is profound. Once and if we build these quantum computers, and mind you, it's a category where people have been toiling away for 30 years without much success. But the best experts in the world believe that in the next decade, we will begin to see real advancements towards building the first scaled quantum computer. And what comes out of that is huge advancements in financial services and pharmaceuticals and all these other categories that are going to change the world in a profound way.
When you think about IBM's role here, and they've come on the show and said by 2029, our quantum computer is going to be in there in the wild and achieving real things. Then from the early stage founder, how are you seeking them out, and where can they add to the quantum process?
Sure. So I think the big goal right now is people are trying to get to 10,000 qubits. So many different hardware types, 6 or 7, based on how you cut it. And I think your most important researchers and PhDs in the world are trying to get to 10,000, 100,000 skilled qubits. That is the march that everyone is working towards, and we're rooting for them.
Alexa, I'm really interested in the business model, which I know is a bit of a dry way of looking at it. But when we think about compute for data centers in the AI context, people lease that capacity, right?
Yep.
I think about the work that Google is doing in quantum. It uses its quantum machines in-house for research. So with what HSBC did with IBM, and when you're looking to invest in the earlier stages of this field, how do quantum computing companies give their services to a financial institution like an HSBC? What's the model for that?
That's a great question. So I think we're going to see a few things. First of all, right now, people will rent out their quantum computers. You're seeing prices from $10,000 to, in different cases, $50,000 per hour, et cetera. So people will rent them out. I actually think it could be a profound business model shift, which is whatever is created with that quantum computer, whatever IP, whatever technology that comes out of using those advancements in compute, that you could take a revenue stream forever. So that is sort of an interesting shift. Somebody once said to me that whoever builds the first quantum computer almost overnight could become Pfizer, because the compute of what's possible for pharmaceuticals could be that profound. So it gives you a sense of the shift, which is you could potentially take a stream of the IP that comes out of quantum computers as a new business model entirely.
Alexa, you are one of many, I would say, that is arguing that physical AI is having a ChatGPT moment. Physical AI is now a pretty broad category. So which vertical within that would you say that is most true of?
Great question. So what I get excited about, as everyone was running at digital AI, as you've seen the dollars pour into the category. At Inspired, our venture fund, early stage venture fund, is very thesis driven. So for us, what physical AI means is taking big foundational models that now exist credibly that can interact with things like sensors and robotics and create smart devices everywhere in our physical world. If you think about just our infrastructure, we all live because of our infrastructure, our water, our pipeline, our electricity, our roads, and we're getting to the point where we can no longer be reactive, which is what we are. It's almost like the Roman times. Something breaks, you go and fix it. To becoming predictive about our ecosystem around us, our world and infrastructure around us. And that is what we mean by physical AI at Inspired. We're really looking for the intersection of observability and predictability in the environment around us.
And looking at your portfolio companies, you've already made some key bets
yes,
here.
We have.
Thinking about Bright AI, TC Labs. What is it that these companies that we see on our screen now have offered you from the seed and Series A area that you feel hasn't been adopted already by big industry, by big companies already listed?
Sure. I'll start with Bright AI. Bright AI, Alex, the CEO, is an absolute technical genius, the godfather of IoT, and he invented a sticker. There's now 250,000 already deployed of these stickers, and they can go on anything from a utility pole to a water pipeline. And here's what it does. It then sends an observability layer back to whichever company has bought these stickers and can say now proactively, the utility pole is 25 degrees slanted. Let's go fix it before it falls on an electrical wire and takes power grids out. Literally, men and women walk up and down utility poles right now and observe them physically and then fix things versus being predictive in fixing it. Bright AI in the water world will literally find inside pipelines the leaks. And right now, today, we lose 6 billion gallons of treated water, which is 15 million homes of water. Think about that every single day because of leaks and bursts. And Bright AI is the sensors that will get ahead of that. So that's Bright AI, a company we're really rooting for. Another company, as we said, was TC Labs, which is an incredible team out of Google. They're trying to save 1 gigaton of carbon each year. And what they do is go take the energy we already have. So think about this. Because of AI, we need wild amounts of energy, right? There's not enough energy is the headline. And so they are going to the infrastructure we already have, oil refineries, and not only helping make them be more efficient using AI so that they can produce more energy, but also more carbon friendly. So that's TC Labs. And then finally, TreeSwift is the data set of sensors for our forest. The forests are the lungs of the planet, and they are measuring them so that we can get ahead of forest fires and major storms that then take power out. So as you see, we are very forward-thinking in physical AI.